around the grounds until you feel at home. And here's the...
This was not just a year of pop songs, it was a year of secrets. The radio sounded bright, glamorous, polished, but behind the hits, there were breakups, pressure, rivalries, fear. You think you know how 60s pop really worked? You don't.
Remember to let her into your heart.
Some of these songs were born from heartbreak, some from protest, some from stories the public never heard. Tonight, we go back, not just to the music, but to the truth behind the top 10 pop songs of 1968 you'll never forget. Number 10, The Rascals. People Got to Be Free.
Everyone learned to live together.
Picture the summer of 1968. The news felt heavy, the streets felt tense, and then this song came on the radio. It felt like a window opening in a hot room, bright horns, big chorus, a message that sounded simple but meant everything. Released in July 1968 on Atlantic Records.
All the world over, so easy to see. People everywhere.
Produced by the Rascals with Aretha Franklin, the lyrics were about freedom and unity, written after the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy. It went to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the band's biggest hit.
If you ask me my opinion will be, that's a situation.
It was pop, but it carried real weight. Fun fact, they rushed the recording so it could come out fast while the country was still hurting. It was meant to comfort people in real time.
Coming right on through.
Why it's sometimes forgotten because later protest songs get more attention. But this one was right there in the moment. This song feels like hope trying to stand tall. And if that was hope, the next one was pure fire. Number 9, Cream, Sunshine of Your Love. Let me take you back for a second. It's early 1968. FM radio is starting to stretch out. You're sitting close to the speaker. Then that riff comes in. Slow, heavy, almost hypnotic. It doesn't rush. It doesn't smile at you. It stares at you. Released in January 1968 in the US on Atco Records. Produced by Felix Pappalardi. The song was written by Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Pete Brown. It reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, which was huge for a blues-based rock band at the time. The lyrics are simple, about longing and desire, but the mood is thick and serious. This wasn't lightweight pop. This was blues power crossing into mainstream radio. It helped open the door for heavier rock in the years that followed. Then fun fact, the famous riff came after the band saw Jimi Hendrix play live in London. They went back to their flat, stayed up all night, and that bass line was born in the early morning hours. Why does it sometimes get pushed aside now? Because later, hard rock bands took the sound even further. But this was one of the turning points. Without this record, the sound of the 70s might have been very different. This song feels like the moment pop radio got darker and stronger. And if that was heavy, the next one was warm and deeply human. Number 8, Marvin Gaye and Tammi Terrell, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing. You hear this one and you feel safe. The groove is smooth. The voices blend like they were made for each other. It feels honest. No tricks, just real emotion. Released in March 1968 on Motown's Tamla label, produced and written by Ashford and Simpson, it reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B chart. The lyrics talk about how pictures and memories can't replace true love. That message was simple, but it hit home. Motown in 1968 was polished, tight, professional, but this song still feels natural and warm. Fun fact, around this time, Tammi Terrell was quietly fighting serious health issues. Marvin would later say recording without her, again, was one of the hardest things he ever did.
I'm getting to you, babe. Don't you know that there ain't no mountain high enough?
Why does it sometimes get overshadowed? Because this duo had other huge hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, but this one carries a special tenderness. This song feels like love frozen in time, and from sweet harmony, we move into something bold and brave. Number 7, The Beatles, Hey Jude.
Remember to let her into your heart.
Now this one, you remember where you were the first time you heard it? Soft piano, gentle voice, then it grows and grows. By the end, it feels like the whole world is singing together. Released in August 1968 on Apple Records, produced by George Martin, written by Paul McCartney for John Lennon's young son during a painful divorce.
Under your skin, then you begin.
It stayed at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 9 weeks, a record at the time. And at over 7 minutes long, it broke all the rules of what a pop single was supposed to be. Radio usually wanted short songs, 3 minutes, quick fade, but this one refused to fade. Fun fact, when they recorded it, some of the orchestra players were told to clap and sing along at the end. A few laughed at first, then they joined in. That ending became history.
Hey Jude,
Now, why could this ever be underrated? Because it's so famous that people stopped thinking about how risky it was. It stretched pop into something grand and emotional. This song feels like comfort in a chaotic year. But comfort didn't last long in 1968. Number 6, Simon and Garfunkel, Mrs. Robinson.
for our fight. We'd like to help you learn to help your.
You hear the guitar first, light, almost playful, but listen closely. The words are sharper than they seem. Released in April 1968 on Columbia Records, produced by Bob Johnston, featured in the film The Graduate. It hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and later won the Grammy for Record of the Year.
Hiding in a hiding place where.
The lyrics hint at confusion, temptation, and generational tension. The late 60s were about young people questioning everything. This song captured that feeling without shouting. Fun fact, the band first wrote pieces of the song for the movie. It wasn't complete. They finished it later after audiences reacted strongly to the melody. Why does it sometimes get boxed in? Because it's tied closely to the film.
Mr. Robinson, heaven knows a place for those who pray.
But even without the movie, it stands tall as a clever, layered pop record. What this song feels like a smile hiding a serious thought, and now we step into a moment that changed a legendary group forever. Number 5, The Supremes, Love Child. Earlier, I told you that behind some of these hits there was tension. This is where it becomes clear. The intro is strong, almost dramatic, not dreamy, not sugary. It feels urgent. You could tell this wasn't just another love song. Released in September 1968 on Motown, produced by the Clan production team, it went straight to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The lyrics tell the story of a woman afraid to bring a child into a life without security or respect. In 1968, that topic was bold for pop radio. Now here's the part we teased. Some people say the label was already preparing for big changes within the group. In interviews, it's been said there were tensions over leadership and direction. There are different versions of the story. Some point to business decisions, and some say it was natural growth. Others mention industry politics inside Motown at the time. What we know is this: after this era, the group dynamic shifted, the spotlight shifted, the unity changed. This record came at a turning point. It topped the charts, but behind the scenes, the future was being rewritten. That's why this tune isn't just music, it's history. And from Motown drama, we head back to raw British energy. Number 4, the Rolling Stones, Jumpin' Jack Flash. That opening guitar still hits hard. It doesn't ask permission, it just kicks the door open. In 1968, that sound felt raw again. The Stones had been experimenting. Now they were back to something dirty and alive. Released in May 1968, produced by Jimmy Miller, it reached number 1 in the UK and number 3 in the US. The lyrics talk about survival, being born in hardship but making it through. It was rough poetry over a pounding groove. The recording was simple but powerful. Guitar, bass, drums, no fluff, no fancy layers. Fun fact, the title came from a gardener at Keith Richards' house named Jack. One morning, they heard heavy footsteps outside. Who's that? Oh, that's Jack. And just like that, the name stuck. Why can it fade in memory? Well, because later albums like Beggar's Banquet get more credit. But this single was the bridge. It brought them back to their roots and set the tone for their classic era. This song feels like mud on your boots and pride in your chest, and now, from grit to pure strength. Number 3, Aretha Franklin, Think. The piano hits first, then her voice rises clear, bold. There is no doubt in it. She isn't asking, she's telling. Released in May 1968 on Atlantic Records, produced by Jerry Wexler, Tom Dowd, and Arif Mardin. It reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B chart. The lyrics demand respect and love, simple message, powerful delivery. In 1968, women were fighting to be heard in many spaces. This song became bigger than romance. It became an anthem. Fun fact, Aretha co-wrote the song herself. That matters. She wasn't just singing someone else's truth, it was her own. Why does it sometimes get lost in her catalog? Because she had so many giants. Respect, Chain of Fools, but Think stands right beside them. It's fearless. But this song feels like standing up straight and refusing to shrink, and from one kind of revolution to another. Number 2, the Beach Boys, Darlin. This one feels different. Warm, gentle, like late afternoon sunlight through curtains. In 1968, the band was changing. The world was louder. But this song felt tender. Released in 1968 on Capitol Records, produced by the band with Carl Wilson taking the lead vocal, it reached the top 20 in the US and did even better in the UK. The lyrics are simple. A man asking for his lover to come back. No tricks, just feeling. The Beach Boys were moving past surf music by then. They were older, more reflective. This song showed maturity. Fun fact, the melody started as a different song years earlier before being reshaped into Darlin. Sometimes great songs wait for the right moment. Why is it sometimes forgotten? Because their early hits and the legend of Pet Sounds overshadow everything else. But this track shows their heart during a changing era. This song feels like a quiet apology that means everything. And now, the one that argued with history itself.
Hey, Pop Lore family. Did you know only 1% of viewers are subscribed? If you love deep dives into pop legends, forgotten gems, and the stories behind the songs that shaped generations, hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to turn on LL notifications so you'll be the first to know when we premiere our next video. It's free, it helps pop lore grow, and it makes sure you never miss a single countdown or music story. Let's build this community together.
Number 1, The Beatles, Revolution.
Don't you know that you can count me out?
You hear that distorted guitar and you know this isn't sweet pop, this is sharp, direct, urgent. In 1968, protests were everywhere. Students, streets, television screens, and here was a band brave enough to say something. Released in August 1968 as the B-side to Hey Jude on Apple Records, produced by George Martin. It reached number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, even as a B-side. The lyrics address political violence and change. The message was complicated. Not blind support, not blind rejection. There were 2 versions recorded, a slower one for the White Album and this fast electric one for radio. Fun fact, the band pushed the guitar distortion to extreme levels for its time. Some engineers worried it was too harsh. That was the point. Why does it sometimes sit behind bigger hits? Because it wasn't comforting, it challenged listeners, it didn't give easy answers. This song feels like pop music stepping into a storm instead of hiding from it. And that's why 1968 still matters, because these songs weren't just catchy. Which tune are you adding to your playlist first? What era should we dig into next? If you want more deep dives like this, hit like, subscribe, and we'll keep the culture alive, one hidden gem at a time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more music deep dives.